I'm Kevin Robinson. I've had my share of challenges in life. Just recently, I had to have a series of operations and I was healing nicely. And then I got hit by a car. I had to get another surgery and recover all over again. When stuff like this happens, I can sit around feeling sorry for myself, or I could take advantage of opportunities and make the life that I want. Nobody's gonna hand it to me. I have to work hard and go after it. That's what I admire about this next story. This BMX rider had so much bringing him down since the time he was young. He found a way to deal with the pain and make a better life for himself. It's a daily battle, but see how he overcomes with a real winning edge.
Growing up in the family that I was born into, it was pretty difficult. I won't lie. I was born, with a single mom. My father was a bit of a drunk. Still is. I watched a lot of people sitting around doing drugs, at his parties. I haven't experienced them because I haven't done them, but I have experienced a lot of heartbreak from watching other people waste themselves away. I started riding BMX about when I was 15. As soon as I got out of school, I would dart down the road and be right here at the park, and then a lot of time I wouldn't eat dinner. And I'd just ride and then go home and go to bed. Progressing here in Bentonville has definitely been a little difficult. The park is small. I just started watching a lot of videos, so I did that and just got to the point where I started doing a lot of tricks. And then I was approached by a friend who ended up asking me to be on a team, and that's when I started performing.
His biking abilities are great. He's kind of on our team is sort of our high flyer. He's the guy that everyone's looking up to, literally, and he's just goes big. I think it takes all the courage and more that a person has to do these things, and he just is so courageous to be able to fly in the air and spin his bike around and be confident that he's going to land back on it safely.
I completely admire Jimmy for the way he rides. Nobody is like Jimmy on his bike, or Jimmy in general. He can basically take a trick that everyone else can do, and he could just throw it some weird way that it would look way cooler than anyone else does it, and it's really cool to see.
I've been injured quite a bit. There's 4 ligaments in your knee, and at one point I tore them all. Concussions are, part of the game. Dislocated shoulders. Even though a lot of the tricks were more or less things that weren't so crazy, but they were tricks that I learned 100% on my own. And when I finally landed them, I was so stoked. It was worth all the broken bones and dislocated body parts and everything that you get. My mother married about 3 times. My first stepfather was a great guy at first, and he had a family member pass away. And every night after school, he would be drunk, and he would get physical with my brother and I. Throwing us around, doing anything to scare us. One way to get away from him was to go out and work. Even at 7, 8, and 9, we were basically out chopping wood. My mom would turn her head to anything that my stepfather did. She was afraid of being alone. It was on the weekends I'd be with my great-grandmother. She is a woman of faith. And those were really the highlights of my childhood, because she really made my childhood great when we were there. As I got older, I started to get depressed because I started to realize, wow, I didn't have a childhood, really. I had to work, keeping everything in order at home, making dinner at 7, 8 for the family. I battled with a lot of anger, and I battled with depression, and depression was probably the hardest thing to shake. I started going to church, and I stuck my foot in the door, and I started learning about God, because I had no idea before. And as I started doing that, I started to really realize there's someone that can take all this burden off my shoulders. With him, anything is possible. Going to church really helped surface my ability just to start praying. I started reading the Bible. The Bible definitely helped open up answers. Definitely taken my perspective from how I grew up as a kid, and I've changed it and flipped it around to be a better person, to really lead a life that's positive.
So I've seen him address his past and say, hey, I've come from this past and it doesn't have to be who I am. He knows the things he doesn't want to be a part of, and he knows the things that he does want to engage in. And it takes a lot of courage to stand up against the way that the masses, the way that his peers are going, but it takes a ton of courage. And I've seen him over and over and over again in so many instances just stand up and say, you know what, my faith and my morals don't let me do this.
It's a real shame to see people waste away by influences of chemicals. You know, there's so much more to life than being gone from it, because it definitely doesn't get you anywhere. I didn't do great in high school, but I decided to go to college because I really want to do something, you know, with my life. I love to paint, I love to draw, and I love playing my guitar. Tony and I love to get together and just kind of jam out and make up little ditties and stuff like that. Going to the gym, that works out real nice. As far as, you know, anger, because that's always been my weak point, is being angry.
He's changed over the years. Like I've seen his darker days, I've seen his brighter days. He's a great guy to be around, and he's always been there, and he'll listen.
He doesn't treat you like you're taking his time or like you're an inconvenience towards him. Like you're his #1 focus. If you've got an issue and you're asking for his help, he'll definitely help you. And that's just something that I love about him.
I'd say my relationship with my mom now is it's definitely not stressed like it was. I don't want to hold any grudges for anything like that towards anyone. So, you know, I've let go of the past, and you know, I love my mom. My advice to kids that, you know, are dealing with a lot of the same problems, no matter what the case is, you know, there's a future. The worst thing to do in this life is, you know, live it with fear, because fear is gonna do nothing but hold you back, and God takes any and all fear out of your life and allows you to just live to the fullest. So no matter what you're struggling with, God will help you out of it.